Hi, I'm Hudson Richards for my presentation on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. At first glance, it's a fantasy about children stumbling into a magical world, but Lewis wrote it with a much deeper purpose. He wanted to show Christian truths, ideas about love, sacrifice, and the fight between good and evil through a story about kids that could enjoy without feeling like they were sitting through a sermon. Today, I'll walk through the plot of the book, the Christian symbols that Lewis hides inside it, and a bit about why he wrote it and when he did it, and finally, how it connects to my own faith and the view of courage and strength. Moving on, the story overview. The story begins during World War II. Four siblings, Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy, are sent away from London to the countryside to stay safe from the bombings. While exploring the professor's big old house, Lucy hides inside a wardrobe and suddenly steps in the snowy forest. She entered the land of Narnia. Later, her brothers and sisters also pass through the wardrobe. Narnia is under the control of the White Witch, who has cast a spell on it so it's winter and never Christmas. She rules by fear and deception. Edmund secretly meets her and, tempted by her enchanted Turkish delight, and her promise to make him a prince, agrees to betray his siblings. Soon the children meet Aslan, the great lion and true king of Narnia. Aslan gathers the free creatures, fauns, talking animals, and woodland spirits to stand up against the witch. To save Edmund, Aslan offers himself in Edmund's palace. The witch kills him on the stone table, but the next morning he returns to life. Because of the deeper magic, death cannot hold an innocent victim who dies for a traitor. With Aslan alive again, the children in the Aslan's army defeat the witch. Spring comes back to Narnia. The children are crowned kings and the queens and rule for many years before stepping back to the wardrobe, only to find that no time has passed in their own world. And these images on the bottom right represents the countryside and the winter that they were trapped in. Moving on to my next slide about the Christian symbols. Lewis uses the whole story as a Christian allegory. Aslan represents Jesus Christ. He freely gives his life for a guilty person and rises from the dead, breaking the power of evil. The White Witch represents Satan, or the power of sin. She tempts and manipulates. She tries to keep the world in darkness and despair. And the stone table where Aslan is killed mirrors the cross or an altar of sacrifice like Jesus Christ. The four children represent all of humanity, each faced with choices between selflessness, obedience to good. Edmund's betrayal shows how easily people can turn away from what is right. Through these symbols, Lewis retells the story of Jesus Christ's death and resurrection in a way that young readers could experience as an adventure and not just a lecture. And on the left image is where Aslan gets sacrificed. Moving on to the author's goal, Lewis published the book in 1950, right after the world had endured two major wars and the wild, uncertainty years of the 1920s. People were questioning religion and places more confidence in science and reason. Lewis himself had once been an atheist, but became a Christian and wanted to share his faith. Inside of writing a theological essay, he built a fantasy world full of talking animals and magic so children could see Christian truths without feeling preached at. His goal was simple but powerful: to strengthen Christ in Christian faith in young people and to show that the core ideas of Christianity, love, forgiveness, and redemption, still matter even in the modern world today. My personal reflection. As a Christian myself, the moment that struck me was Aslan's sacrifice for Edmund. Edmund betrayed his family and did nothing to earn forgiveness, yet Aslan willingly died for Edmund so he could live. That scene instantly reminded me of Jesus' death on the cross, taking the punishment we deserve and offering us grace we cannot earn. Reading that made me think about how hard forgiveness can be real life. It challenges me to forgive others and keep doing what is right, even though when it's difficult or unpopular. The children's trust in Aslan, especially when everything looks hopeless, reminds me to keep my own faith steady when life feels uncertain. Their example shows that faith is not just believing when things are easy, it's holding on when you can't see the ending. And the image in the bottom right represents the good outweighing the evil at the end of the day. How it affects my beliefs, focusing on courage and strength. This story also deepens my understanding of courage and strength. The children are ordinary kids, scared and unsure, yet they still follow Aslan. That's real bravery, stepping forward even when you're afraid and the unknown is right there. Aslan himself shows a different kind of strength. He goes to his death quietly, trusting in what the book calls the deeper magic. His power comes from the willingness to lay down his life, not from fighting harder. When Aslan rises and the witch is defeated, it proves that standing firm in what is right makes good stronger than evil always. When my own life gets challenging at times, this reminds me that real strength comes from trusting God and staying faithful, even when it's not the easiest thing to do. In conclusion, in the end, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is far more than a children's fantasy. It shows how faith can give us the bravery and resilience to face evil and overcome it. Aslan's sacrifice proves that God's love and forgiveness are stronger than fear or doubt. The children's courage offers hope that ordinary people like us can't stand strong for what is right. Through the story, C.S. Lewis succeeds in using fiction to pass on faith and inspire readers to live with boldness and trust in the real world. That, to me, is what makes this book timeless and powerful. Thank you for listening.